What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P here with another episode of Steelers Touch and Under. We are reacting to the Steelers picking Yahya Black out of the Iowa Hawkeyes. They get their second player in this draft from the Iowa Hawkeyes. This guy going on defense. Their fourth pick of this draft. The guy is a defensive player. So 3 out of 4 picks so far have been defensive players. They pick a big interior defensive lineman. This bloke is 6'6", 336 pounds, arm inch, 35-inch arms, hand size of 10 1/4. Hands of, we'll talk about that with quarterbacks, but anyway, that's a stat. There you go. Had a 5.86 grading on NFL.com, which is an average backup or special teamer. He was not in my top 75 plays because I already had 10 DLs across in my top 75 across all 3 days. If I had to do 100 players, he probably would have been there. I did kind of think it was interesting with him, but there were other sort of DTs that had been taken in the third round already that were already on my list. But definitely a guy not to shy away from. I did do a bit of review into him. I thought he might have slipped to the 6th round. The other notable thing is the Steelers actually traded back from 156 to 164 with this pick, and they acquired an additional pick in pick number 226 toward the end of the 7th round. So pretty interesting from that perspective. Now, if we look at Yahya Black as well, and I'm hoping that's how we say his name, that's how I heard it pronounced. I haven't heard it too often. I've heard some people muck that one up when they've been doing him, so hopefully we got it right there. But the cool thing with him is he was the 150th best player in this draft according to Daniel Jeremiah. The Steelers got him in 164, so that is value, that is gravy. You are happy with that. Interestingly though, Pro Football Network did not have him on their list at all, and neither did PFF. And PFF went all the way to over like 350 rankings, I think they did. So kind of interesting there. Kind of marked down because it's traditional run stuffer. But when you're at Iowa, when you're an Iowa Hawkeye playing in defense and playing these heavy sets, it doesn't necessarily mean that like you do something fancy, but what it does is it does protect you well to the NFL level. Now, Yahya Black is someone that you can see right in the corner of the little screen in front of me. He's played 1,423 snaps over the B gap, 162 over the A gap. That's out of 1,725 snaps. So that tells you where he is. At B gap, obviously being between the offensive guard and the offensive tackle. Kind of interesting there because I think the Steelers really for him are going to be wanting to move him like more in that nose tackle spot with his size and weight and the ability to soak up the run. But remember, there's a difference between when you're playing a 4-3 and a 3-4. And so I do think he can transition into that role. The thing about this I like about this pick too is that this is not, the nose tackle position is not fancy. And like, I shouldn't have been fancy, but it's something that's certainly been somewhere where teams have filled it late in the draft. Well, then you've gone out and had to buy someone when you haven't been able to get anyone that you really like in the draft, or you focused on other areas. This is getting cheaper at a position of need with a massive body that can get in there. Like, think about what we've missed since losing Alawalu, since he moved on to almost retire, then with Detroit, and then actually retire. So I really like the pick for very much that reason. You also have him here at 5.5 sacks according to Sports Reference. He has 7 sacks according to PFF. Remember, PFF round up half sacks to full sacks. The other thing that I thought was interesting with him as well was he had 15 tackles for a loss. That's quite a lot for an interior defender. He has 32 hurries according to in his college career. According to PFF, again, some of those numbers can be a little bit falsified, but still, that's a pretty decent number of 32 hurries. Remember, we talked about Jack Sawyer in the last video. He had 80 hurries. He also has 9 batted balls, and that's important. I keep talking about the defenders, but defensive tackles, it's important with the batted balls. Derek Harmon had 4 last year. He had 2 last year, but he had 3 the year before. He's at basically had 2 or more in 4 of his 5 years out of Iowa. That's a really big deal as well because we know the Steelers like that, I guess pass defense capability, batting down balls from the defensive line is part of their game. So that's pretty cool, I think, from him, and it shows you sort of how he probably got in the mix. The other cool thing that I thought about him is he's only missed 9.4% of his tackles, which is pretty good considering the amount of snaps he's played at over 1,700 snaps in his college career. So I think Derek Harmon had 19% when we looked at him on day one. So yeah, that 9.4% is pretty good. This is an experienced, big body experienced big body who was going to stop the run. And the Steelers got gashed last year. They've now got Derek Harmon in round 1. They went and got Jack Sawyer in the 4th. They went and got Yahya Black in the 5th. This is exciting. The Steelers are beefing up on that line. Get ready to play hard-nosed football, AFC North football, when you're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another guy that gets to stay in the black, they're more black and yellow, but black and gold as he goes into his NFL career. Anyway, you let me know in the comments. Did you like the pick? Was there someone that the Steelers left on the board that you would have preferred? Let me know in the comments. As always, go Steelers.